secondary.
You know what? We just get rid of that old Bible and go with the new Trump
mean that-
Bible.
Yes. Which you can access on the new Trump telephone.
There you go.
Again, on the gold telephone.
That always makes me laugh when these people, they call him Paul, because Paul, before he was Paul, was Saul.
Saul.
The Roman, zealous, Christian
How about
killer.
that?
Yeah.
The irony.
That's because you're looking at the wrong kind of history.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
putting the wrong fact.
You're not supposed to delve that deeply.
Yeah. That's critical thinking gone wrong.
I'm reluctant to have everybody give their names and be part of the broadcast. So, yeah, okay. Well, remind everybody, I'm Merrill Shapiro.
Kurt McCauley.
Phyllis Ruther. Kathy Rotundo.
Sherry Frazier.
Ken Frazier.
Al Rotundo.
Delane Dearborn.
Susan Noble.
Marla Alger.
Jackie Brabon. Kathy Moon.
I got Kathy Moon, candidate for
School board.
School
District
board.
one.
Doesn't remember. So we begin, of course, with a constitutional minute, thanks to Kurt's return to our, I'll call it precincts, our weekly meeting. Go ahead.
Amendment 26. I will read without my glasses.
Good luck with trying.
Hang on.
You wanna hold it over here?
You need Al to hold that?
Yes, need longer arms. Yeah.
Have some hanging around your neck.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. All right. I can't see it. I'm
I
sorry.
think your iPhone has a magnifying glass.
That too, yeah.
I'll read
Your
it.
phone?
You could
Guess
talk
what?
about it.
I don't have an iPhone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the Amendment 26 ratified 7/1/71. The right of citizens of the United States who are 18 years or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of age. 2, Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
so what does
You have to
it,
be
what change did it
18 to
affect?
vote.
What was the change?
The age.
18 years, yeah, it used to be 21. And 18 years, in fact, you used to be able to be inducted in the Air Force and fly an F-35, but not be able to vote. But now 18-year-olds can vote, so thank you very much.
1991.
71. right?
71.
It's not that
70.
long.
Well, the
It's not that long ago.
That's a little one too.
The math.
I don't have I would lend you my glasses. I mean, yeah, we should bring glasses.
Finished
Yeah,
with the last one, you
yeah,
said
yeah, been around a
27?
while.
Yeah, I mean, it's another little one.
All right, you want to, go
All
ahead.
right,
27.
Amendment 27 ratified 5/7/92. No law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened. So they're making sure they get their sum.
Okay, yeah, okay, but only after the next election.
Even if the government is shut down.
Yeah.
They couldn't pass
Yeah,
anything, then, could
the workers can't be paid, but they can get paid. And one day there'll be Amendment 28, change Washington D.C. to Trump D.C. But
Let's.
yeah, no, okay, that's
Let's
good.
not go there.
So I mentioned last week, and I'll continue to mention, it's not so important for all of you who are tuned in, although there were some of you who didn't know what precinct you're in. But you do, in fact, need to know your precinct, because we have constantly come to this point in our discussions. And that the point is that on average, statistically, and there's a lot of variation here, but statistically, there are 4,800 voters in your precinct. Statistically speaking, 2,400 of them are Republicans. And approximately 1,200 are NPAs, no party affiliate, and 1,200 are Democrats. And if we want to affect change, I would say that we've got to work within our precinct. We don't have to change the whole world, but we do have to work in our precinct to get people to vote for Democrats against these Republicans, and we are truly represented by a bunch of crazy people and people who don't have our interests, as we saw just a few minutes ago when Trump got on the plane and went to China and said he doesn't care about
I don't care about the
that
American
doesn't care
economy.
about and
Kiss my golden butt.
I know that one, but can't refute it either.
Before you go too far,
Now,
mention
what-
where they can find
Talk about
what
idolatry.
precinct they're in.
Oh, yeah, okay, and this was the latest edition of the notice I sent out. I don't know if anybody reads it anymore, but you can go to the Flagler County Supervisor elections, just Google it, and then it says My Voter Information. You click on that, put in your name and address, and they'll spit out your precinct number.
Or
For
you could look at your card that you got when you registered to vote.
ideally, if you still have your card, absolutely. You know, yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. And interestingly, I believe that your voter registration card will not count as an ID as far as new federal
go to
laws.
vote,
so
your
when
voter
go-
ID card
yeah,
doesn't count,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine.
right.
That's
Neither does your Costco
Can't make it up.
or anything,
No,
card and
that's
so
fine.
on.
I thought
Now-
it wasn't gonna be until the 27 or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. No, not sure. Now, you should be aware, by the way, we have 202, we have a 202 person. That's very interesting. Okay, I have here, I'll pass around for your use, and we can make I was offered more copies, but I didn't want them to do that much. There is, in every precinct, except 202 and 507, a precinct captain for the Democratic Party. One of the things you can do is call them. In fact, the phone number is here, their email address is here. If you want to take one and pass it around, and call them and say, what can I do to help you get, it would be wonderful if we got 70, 80, or 90% of all the Democrats to go to the polls. And perhaps that's a goal, not to have them vote one way or another.
With Josh, we had 85%.
What?
85%.
With Josh, okay, you know what? Let's aim for 85% again, and perhaps not.
We're having a special election.
Yeah.
I'm running.
Yeah, yeah. Now,
very
by the
special.
way, yeah. So I'm even I'm talking about August 18th.
Yes.
We'll worry about November 3rd later. August 18th. Josh was not in a. Well, first of all, it was a presidential election year, and there was much more interest, and people's interest now is all over the place. People have given up hope and so on. We need to be in touch with people, our neighbors, and your precinct captain can help you find out who of your neighbor is on our side, and help them and urge them to go and vote and go to the polls and express their their gift from the United States of America. Let's put it that way.
I want to
It's a
say
good
this
patriotic
one
thing.
other thing. A precinct captain, one of their jobs
You're in
is to go
201.
out and get to know
I mean, you got
the
201
people
on
in
you.
the precinct. And they are also your representatives at the DEC meetings when they're discussing DEC, local democratic issues that are coming up for the day and what their plans are. The captains are there to represent you. So if you have anything you'd like to contribute, you can talk to your captain. Also invited to attend as a member in the back. There's always seats in the back of the room for people to come in and hear what's going on. But the captain's the person you need to know to get to know, your views to the board. Everybody else who's.
Yeah, and by the way, you are eyes and ears for people who aren't registered, and we need to go approach them, and particularly new people moving into town.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if there's a house for sale and somebody is moving in, go over and introduce yourself, say hello, and tell them about us.
To this day, I don't understand why we don't have a welcome wagon. The first thing I said is, where's the welcome
We
wagon?
used to.
Nobody once knocked on the door and said, well, we didn't know there was actually a precinct captain at the time, but nobody came to the door, nobody knocked, no postcard in the mail saying, welcome to the neighborhood. Nothing like that happened.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we are in the state that brought stand your ground to the forefront of this country.
Yeah.
So, people walking up to your door.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful of that too. Yeah,
Better have you.
I have worked the census from time to time, and I used to say, hold your briefcase in front of you. That's okay. I don't want to know for it. Yes, if it's going to make a difference. Yeah. So we have reached a place in our country where it has not received much news, and that is that our national debt has reached $39 trillion, which is more than our gross domestic product.
God.
And is this something we can pin on the what's her name, Ashley Moody? Is this something we can say Randy Fine, Ashley Moody, our Republican senator, Randy Fine, our House of Representatives, representative in the House of Representatives, and how about at lower levels? Can we say to, look at what these Republicans have done on the county commission or on the city council and alike, that they have put us so far in debt and so far behind. And of course, that's all going to be exacerbated by the doing away temporarily with the gas tax.
Has that been finalized? Because apparently only Congress
Can
do this. So
And they've stood so strong in the past. I'm pretty sure you're right.
That's it. Took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah.
But usually, isn't it only a few cents? I mean,
Yeah, it's not much on the
really
I think it's
federal.
18 cents.
18 cents.
Yeah, 18 cents is
But
right,
But
yeah.
18 cents is 18 cents
Yeah.
when every dollar in your wallet,
Yeah.
I need that 18 cents.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have no gas and I have no money. I
Yeah.
have $2 and some change until next Wednesday.
I think Florida's is
Now, the
it's
state
like
tax,
30
there's a
30
state,
cents.
yeah, there's a state tax
There's a
as well,
state
yeah.
tax.
yeah.
And the county could be equal to that or even higher?
Yeah.
Well, Flagler has
So-
the highest gas in the state of Florida.
Yeah, if you
No,
look.
it's probably
yeah,
their
if you look,
county
yeah,
tax.
Yeah,
Yay for being number one.
yeah. Either county tax, or I sometimes wonder about price fixing. I think they all meet up for breakfast on Thursday mornings and say, okay, everybody, let's turn it up to $3.49, and so everybody's $3.49, and then they really hurt competition.
Price fix.
I filled
Nobody
up for the
believes me
most I
when I
ever
tell
filled
them
up
it's price
ever.
fixed. Just
Yeah.
go down the street.
Yeah.
There might be one guy that's got it 2 cents
That's
cheaper.
cheaper, and that's it, yeah. Were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, it's crazy how you go by in the morning and then in the afternoon it's a different price. And they really haven't gotten a delivery, so it's like, how did that, what you already have in your tanks, change? I can see it for the next delivery,
Right.
you know, because it's not in there yet.
But it's controlled by a market, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Yes,
is, but
all
it's just,
supply and
it just
demand.
seems weird, that's all.
Yeah.
And I had the same question, and a gas station guy I used to work at one told me what they're managing is you might be buying the gas that's in the tank that's at the current price, but to replace that gallon of gas, they have to offset that cost. So they're now, if it was 25 cents a gallon, but the new gas is going to be 50 cents a gallon, he has to get that extra quarter now to replace the gallon he just sold. It's
Blah, blah,
insane.
blah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
insane.
What mine is.
But, kind of, how is ExxonMobil doing
I
on
know
the
you're
stock
right,
market?
Ken.
What's the bottom line of Shell Oil? What's
They're doing very well.
What they're all, yeah,
They're
okay.
doing very well.
And why are they doing so well? Because we keep spending a fortune
And Trump said there were tankers galore heading
our
our
way,
We're gonna
and
sell them.
when the
They're
war is
stuck. It's
over,
straight to
which the war is over, so
Yeah.
now gas is going to go back to
Strait that was open.
in his mind $1.99
I
or
don't
something.
know if it hit national news or local, but of course I read about it, you know where, NJ.com.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Mikey Sherrill, the governor, is pushing
By the way,
back.
NJ is New Jersey, by the way, for those
New
of
Jersey,
you
by the way.
Some of us, you know,
Is pushing back because I guess like the other day, yesterday, Trump said he was thinking about suspending the federal tax on
yeah,
gas.
yeah.
Is this something that everybody
Yes.
knows
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And she said, "Oh no, you're not," because like we need like
That's
we-
roads and
stuff,
bridges.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's so your gas tax pays for your roads and so on.
Does
That's
anybody
by-
suspect there wasn't a plan when I'm feeling every day like
Jackie won't
we're just
know.
gonna
Oh, I
wing
was
it?
just going to say,
Okay.
several weeks ago, I brought that pamphlet in about boycotting different things, and I
Yeah.
finally condensed it down, and the gas stations we should boycott.
Should boycott, okay?
Chevron, Citgo, Phillips 66, ExxonMobil, and Valero.
Who's left?
To use no-name gas stations, Costco or Wawa.
Huh?
What about
Wawa.
Shell?
Wawa.
Is one of those
I
own,
remember.
does one of those own Shell?
No, Shell isn't in this list.
Yeah.
Didn't Shell have insane earnings the last 7 months? Did you
I
ever
think
hear
they've all
about
had,
that?
they
Like,
all
they
had
had $1
insane
billion
earnings. They all had insane
through
earnings.
the,
I did
the
hear
last
that.
3 months or something.
They all had insane earnings,
Where
yeah.
does BJ's
Right.
fall on that list?
It doesn't.
Yeah, it's not
That's
there.
probably
Yeah.
considered no name gas.
It doesn't, but Costco's does.
Costco, I know.
Yeah, I didn't-
Probably
I
have
go to
put money
BJ's
on that,
too.
even not knowing, but I was
Yeah,
curious about it, BJ's.
it wasn't in the list, so I don't know if it's good or bad.
I'll look it up.
In the end, we're all stuck and we're gonna pay
Yeah.
high prices, even,
Oh.
no matter what.
Is there anybody at this table
Oh, so you can volunteer.
believe the gas is gonna go back down below $3 a gallon
No.
ever
No.
again?
No,
No.
this is our
maybe.
future.
I'm gonna look
Yeah.
it up, see if
Yeah,
it's on
that's
there.
it then.
Hopefully mortgages, will go down, but I don't think so. All those young people.
You
that-
can wake up now.
Well, I know, I'm just saying, all those
Mortgages
young
go
people
down.
I know, my kids' friends, they can't afford houses. My kids have houses, but
What's the name of that?
yeah,
Here it is.
they can't afford to buy houses. Come on, I was 25, I got my first condo, I mean, my dad helped me, but.
That day is gone.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
That
that's
ship
coming
has
back
sailed.
either.
But
Yeah.
that's the way it should be. People need to start a life and have a house and have a family and.
And not only that, you can't get a mortgage with just one income anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody
Well, I know.
makes enough.
This is
So this is a whole problem the next generation has that, plus don't forget the student loans that, choking on
Exactly
in
right.
that.
Yeah, my
Exactly.
son's got
Between
that.
trying
I
to
know
pay
all
that
of
off.
that. It's terrible
No.
and it's not right.
Are these good reasons to vote for our younger representation?
Oh,
Absolutely,
of
so
course.
they
That
understand,
seems like where
yeah.
the crisis is, just like,
It's
what's going on from Louisiana and Tennessee
When I
the
would-
other day. It's like, now we're in crisis. Now, we all, that just seems to me to be another group that's being disenfranchised and cut out.
oh completely.
As far as representation, if anything,
Yeah.
there's nothing more American than that, right? I mean, why did the Tea Party happen, right?
Yeah.
Stand back, taxation without representation. So
And
anybody that can't wrap their brain around that, it seems very basic.
I think a lot of the older people in government just really don't get how different it is for the younger generation than it was for them when they were at that age.
I was
They don't
talking-
And
understand
at this
how
point, they all
difficult.
have a big pile
And they've
of
got
money
it.
they've
That's
collected
right.
over
And
the
they've done,
years.
they've made
So they
theirs. Why
don't
can't you
care.
make yours?
My friend's
Right.
father, when BJ's was coming in, like right when it was about to open, he was telling me how great BJ's opening
Ouch.
is gonna be, because it's going to provide so many jobs. I said, but they're gonna be like low
Retail.
paying. He goes,
Mick
"That's
Mick
all right."
jobs,
Like,
yeah.
it's like he lives on the intercoastal, and he's
Yeah.
got this big palatial house for himself and his 2 cats.
Mhm.
And like, I love them, but, and then, yeah, so it's okay if they make
It's okay.
$15 an hour. That's what I started out not making any money, but relatively, I'm thinking, it's
very
more of a
different.
disparity.
It is more of a disparity, because if you're speaking relatively, when you started out making $15 an hour, how much was gas?
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
$1.75.
How much was a loaf of bread
Yeah.
or an egg?
And then-
Or a house.
Or a house?
I mean,
So
it's
at
a
$15 an hour,
dollar.
there was a pathway to advance. Now, if you're, think about it, when gas hits $5 a gallon here eventually, how many hours are you gonna have to work
That's right.
your 40-hour week
That's exactly
just to pay for the tank of gas
Increase in the gas.
to get you to your job?
Right.
And
That's a pay
then,
cut.
yeah,
Yeah,
There you go.
especially when you consider how many people from here have to drive to Daytona or St. Augustine
Correct.
to find work,
right.
to have a chance at a
That's
decent
their
job.
own fault for moving here.
That's right.
They
Because
should
this is
they should
supposed
know
to be a
that.
Pull
retired
yourself up in your
community.
bootstraps.
One of the things that, one of the town hall meetings, that Teresa Pontieri spoke at, said that's one of the reasons why they ask people to fill up here in Palm Coast, because they rely on the Palm Coast tax, to utilize that tax money for repairs, et cetera. And, even though the gas is cheaper somewhere else, you're helping yourself by chipping in
Cheaper is the only one.
to the things here in Palm Coast, so.
Yeah.
By the way, BJ's their money goes 79% Republican for donations and only 21% goes to Democrats. And I got that on the 5 Goods app, you know.
They
Yeah, so-
they don't make it easy.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So let's go back,
Better.
if I may, to
Well, Costco's always been
the
down.
question, because this will take us to another subject. The question of, yes, we need younger people to represent us. So who was the youngest U.S. representative in the House of Representatives in Washington?
Was it
Maxwell Frost?
It's Maxwell Frost.
From Florida,
And so,
right?
and what just happened to Maxwell Frost?
I'm
And
guessing
to
his
all-
district got eliminated. Or reconfigured in such a way.
Reconfigured in such a way that it's going to be.
They did it to Jasmine Crockett, they're gonna do it to all of them.
And the goal is to make Florida have no Democratic representatives, party representatives in
Though, in
Congress.
a
Go
way,
ahead.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay. What district was he in? Do you
It was
know?
around Orlando somewhere, I'm not
Yeah,
quite
it's
sure.
Orlando.
So, in Florida, you don't have to live in your district, so he can't run again. He just needs to run, but he'll be in a different district.
He'll be in a different district, and that district, any district he chooses is going to be overwhelmingly Republican.
Republican.
is
Yeah,
the
because
idea.
that's what they're doing
Yeah.
about the gerrymandering.
Yeah.
Gerrymandering.
Yeah, they
Now.
gerrymandered, they said the districts were set for racial equality, so they changed
I
it to
think for our
districts
state
that are all white,
representatives, they do
which is
have to live
equally
in
racial.
or move to the district.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we don't make our U.S.
Why can't we
House
just vote as a
representatives.
state? Like, why do we have to vote in districts?
That's the way I have no idea.
Yeah.
That
Well,
that
that's
goes back,
what becomes
I know the guys,
even more poignant
Yeah.
when they take away home rule.
Yeah.
If they're taking away home rule, why do we have to vote in districts?
I mean,
Why
I
aren't
think
we
in
just
theory
part of
it
the
was
state?
about, local control, always,
Yeah.
all the way down the chain, but
Right.
if now they're decimating the representation of the districts, then
Exactly. We don't
what's
need
the
them
point? There's no benefit to the people that live in that district.
anymore. Right.
Well, they
Yeah.
decimated home rule before they made this change.
yeah.
They
Uh,
have strict control from county, city, and school boards.
What happens to a district that's now been made Republican? Won't there still be a Republican and a Democrat running? for that seat?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
So-
we're going to have Yance or Rivera, what's his name?
We're not
too.
considering the Republicans that are gonna bail.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming there will be a handsome amount of those.
Maybe.
That will
No,
vote
no.
for a Democrat, so.
You think so? You think so?
Hold it, and I mean,
That's
what
what's
was
been
it,
happening in our
2018?
special elections.
But we eat
2018
babies
when the
after we
blue
molest
wave
them.
hit?
I don't.
It's
no.
called a wave for a reason, and I'm thinking the more bodies of people that get disenfranchised, the more upset and angry and more determined they're going to become, and they're just going to be pulling, like, maybe before this happened I could pull 2 new people along. Now I'll be able to easily pull 10 along. You know what I mean? I just think that momentum could work to our advantage.
Yeah, it's no longer gonna be a wave, it'll be a tsunami.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
now
we-
we're getting the Democrats
Yeah.
emotionally engaged, and we've always compared the Democrats and the Republicans on emotion, right?
Vitamin
Exactly.
E, emotional.
The
yeah.
threat we have to remember is the moron in charge can send troops to the voting places and stop people from
And
voting.
then
Yeah.
he's gonna be
No, he can't.
protested.
No,
Then
I
he's
mean,
gonna
that's
be
No, he
protested,
can't.
then,
He could enact that, but the governors of the state can actually say any federal forces interfering with state-run elections can be arrested by my law
do
enforcement
you think
agency.
Ron
Ron
DeSantis
DeSantis
is gonna do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, right,
But it
yeah.
doesn't,
But
Well,
there
same
again, in
Right.
Florida, why would they send troops here? It's overwhelmingly Republican.
there are people a lot smarter than I that are saying that the pushback in and of itself is enough. It's historically, so far to date, it is working, the pushback. Because we all know there are a bunch of morons up there. They don't know what they're doing. They are losing all the time in court, so they're not very bright, nor are their lawyers. And the minute that the people rise up and push back, they are backing down on a regular basis. So I just feel that it's in the hands of us, like it's in the hands of the people. We have to keep doing what we're doing, and we have to keep listening. What is it? Be smart consumers of news. Find the news that's actually happening You know what I mean? And have that impact your activism, in my opinion.
What if we have
Agreed.
people show up to the polls? You know, like there's always people on the outskirts
Right.
of it, but what if we show up and are just there? Because we've already voted
100%.
however we voted.
We're allowed to
you know?
be there.
Yeah,
That's our
right,
First Amendment.
absolutely,
I mean, we're allowed
yeah.
to protest peacefully,
Within
and that's
50
what it's
50
doing. It.
yards.
Yeah,
That's what's doing it, you know. I don't have a gun, you have a gun, you know, and hopefully you're not going to murder me. But it
And-
seems that they've taken a giant leap backwards. God bless Preddy and good.
You're right as far as I've heard the pundits, and they're all saying protests are having an effect. There's no kings. These protests that we are having to show the discord in the country or the disapproval of the actions of this administration is having an effect.
There are ice.
But the legitimate, his thing with the courts is you're looking for a win. We do get wins in the court. Historically, to this date, just about 70% of the time, when we get it to the lower courts,
That's right.
we win.
That's right.
But
It takes time.
what he's been using is
I
the
know. I know
shadow,
the shadow docket. I know.
the shadow docket, where without rhyme or reason, the Supreme Court is reversing decisions.
It just
Yeah.
doesn't make it doesn't make sense to me that you have the courts, the lower courts, and the Supreme Court. I understand that the Supreme Court is the Supreme Court. I understand that, but when the lower courts are saying to the Supreme Court, BS, BS, we're calling you BS, we're calling you, how long is it going to take for that to become very common knowledge? And for them, you know, the Supreme Court to start looking at the lower courts as their peers, which is what they are.
That's already been seen. Literally, you can draw a straight line from lower court decision to a shadow docket redecision or reorganization or what they want to call. And the lower courts there have been judges
They've been
saying,
holding.
look, if you're going to reverse my decision, you should at least explain to me
Right.
why you reversed this decision and show me the basis of law that you're using to reverse the
Colleague
decision.
to colleague.
Colleague to colleague. But we don't have a mechanism in place in our system that's designed to
That
do
pushes
that.
back
Right.
on
I
that.
was
Force
thinking
it.
that same thing myself.
We
like,
really
how do you
can't
do
do
that?
anything about it until we take over at least the House. If we get the House and the Senate, then we
Get more
can do
people on the
something.
Supreme Court.
That's
Exactly, yeah.
that is apparently that's the thing. A lot of the Democratic Party, the last administration, they were against doing this.
Right.
Now that's becoming a little more palatable to everyone. They're now saying, you know what? The only way we're going to get true justice is we equalize this court, and if we have to put more Supreme Court justices on there, that's what we're going to have to do.
Because the previous assumption was that the judges were nonpartisan, correct?
Right.
All right, and so
And
that
I
wa-
mean,
and it
if
was
we're
that
not-
way, but
if we're
yeah,
not
then-
living in that world anymore under that premise, then it seems that the Constitution has to evolve, which it is supposed to. That's why
Yes.
they're called amendments,
Yeah.
right? We
Right.
have to change.
Well, the assumption with the Supreme Court, when all these justices were interviewed and questioned, if you go back and look at them, they all
Please.
said,
Lied.
I will only look at
Yep.
Please,
the facts of the case.
Right.
lying through
I'll
their
have
teeth.
no bias.
And
I
blah,
will
blah,
bring
blah
no
is
bias.
settled law, which they
Yeah,
immediately
right.
overturned.
Yeah,
I can't
Stars
wait for the
decisis,
movies.
decisis stars,
I can't
yeah,
wait
so,
for the
you know,
movies.
How
precedent.
many circuits do we have? Is anyone up on the courts enough to know that?
13?
In
Yeah.
our
I think that's right.
where we vote on
No, circuits. So I
Federal,
was
federal circuit, so
I was
by the
listening to a
federal-
thing
yeah.
talking about how, 9 is not the magic number. It was originally 6
Yes.
Supreme Court justices. And when they created another circuit, a seventh circuit,
Seventh Circuit.
they added one, or maybe they added 2 at that time, and they added a third, but then they stopped. But we have more circuits now, so our own past practice
Right,
was to
was to
add
add.
judges so you could easily justify increasing
Something
to.
happened because you're right. It was like so many circuits to a Supreme Justice.
Right.
Right.
And at some point.
It was 1-to-1
yeah,
originally.
I don't know what happened to say, okay, we got enough.
I know there was Franklin Roosevelt who was unhappy about Congress
Yeah.
not pay, or the finding of his different agencies being a problem. He wanted to pack the court. He wanted to expand the court so that he could appoint and nominate Democratic-leaning justices.
So it's not an old,
but then it's
old
well,
idea.
it depends on what you call the 1930s. Is that old? Is that a long time ago, or is that not such a long time ago? Yeah. But,
As how old you are.
yeah, that too. The issue of troops, I would amend that troops are just ICE agents.
Yeah.
All they have to do is stand there, and that will suppress Hispanic voters. And Hispanic voters, by and large, vote.
Well, the last
With us.
election we had, remember everybody was concerned about the argument that all the MAGA would show up because in open carry states,
Yeah.
they could
Yep.
stand within so many feet.
With a gun.
And there
150
were a
feet.
number of Democrats that I heard didn't want to go because they were afraid of
But I
confrontation.
think
Which
that
is
it's
why
been
they should register
demonstrated-
for vote by mail.
I think a lot of though has been demonstrated repeatedly that's all bluster. It's all bluster. Because the minute they murdered 2-3 people that I know of, probably more in the horrible concentration camps that they're holding people in, as soon as
30-some there.
that took a hold of the public, that was it. There's no turning back. That hasn't happened. I know that
That you know of.
in New Jersey,
Yeah.
that a lot of, obviously it's New Jersey, but there are a lot of warehouses that they've been looking
Right.
at to, turn into ICE, more concentration camps.
Concentration camps.
And that has all ground to a halt.
All over the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess it's happening all over the country, so again,
MAGA people.
Yes,
Again,
even they don't want it in their
there's-
backyard.
No.
what these dummies up where we clearly are flying by the seat of their pants, not just with Iran, but with probably everything that they're doing. The minute they hit that pushback, they're like, they don't know how to fight it because they don't know how to fight it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they're just
It
not
works
smart
until it
enough.
doesn't.
It's like we have more cards.
How do
We
you
have
defend
more
Nazi
smart, we
Germany?
have
Yeah.
more savvy, we have more
What we're
law
seeing
on our
is
side. We
civil,
just
yeah,
have
it's
a
got-
better
yeah.
hand.
Very similar.
Yeah.
And they know it.
That's why they're
not
so
what-
terrified
That's not
and
what they're
behaving the
telling
way
the
they are.
people, and that's obviously not what their base is convinced of, but they know it. And they know that if we get the ear and the mind of the reasonable, rational Republican or independent, that we are going to win the argument, hands down. Just saying.
So we don't have to go so far. In our jail, Staley is housing those who've been picked up by ICE. And can we find out now? I've copied some of you on letters I've sent to Sheriff Staley, and the last one he has simply not responded to. It's the issue of, he claims that federal law overrides the state law. The state law, the sunshine laws, require that all these public records, including who's held in our jail that we pay for, be available for inspection. And I've asked to inspect it.
Right.
The last round is he's simply ignored, and
Do we
I've
have
got
a
nowhere
right to
to.
make an appointment with him and go see him?
Yeah, but he won't accept our appointment. The next step is, and it's expensive and cumbersome, is to go to court and ask for an injunction against what he's doing. But that really takes a lawyer and court fees and so on and so forth. And
Isn't the former
Staley,
sheriff a lawyer?
yes, Jim Manfrey is on our side with
And
this,
he
but
is a lawyer or was a lawyer?
He was a lawyer.
he is he's a lawyer.
Member of the
Yeah,
bar.
still a lawyer.
He practices
He has
in Florida?
has a practice. He's a law
Jersey?
practice right
He's
now.
right here in
He'll-
Denver.
if you have a will you want or a trust to establish, I could do an advertisement thing. He doesn't have any billboards. It's not Morgan and Morgan, but yes, Jim Manfrey is an attorney who's on our side.
Have you
but,
talked to Morgan and Morgan? They're Democrats, they might do it for free.
yeah, but they are an injury company.
Yeah.
By the way, and
I feel injured.
yeah,
Well, wait a minute, what
yeah.
about the
By the way,
ACLU?
now the ACLU has been copied on the letters I've sent.
Because
Haven't-
they
haven't heard
they
from
would
them
take
either.
that on
Did
for
you
nothing.
copy the press? Did you copy the Observer?
No, I
Flagler
copied
Live?
Flagler Live in particular, and nobody wants to touch it, and nobody. Well, if you recall, Flagler Live did the expose.
Right.
And what
on
about
this,
the
in fact.
NAACP?
We don't know. By the way, we don't know whether there's a racial component
Right.
to it
'Cause
or,
you'd have to
or
have the data
anything.
to
Yeah,
know.
Right, we're
yeah,
talking about
yeah. We'd
people
have
that
no.
are being detained.
If you think about the circular nation, they don't tell us who's in there, so we can't activate the people who would reach out to them and so on. They're being kept in relatively incognito. I understand they can talk to their families. By the way, you can for the prisoners who we do know, the regular prisoners, you can send them money so that they have money to make phone calls so that they could spend in the canteen and so on and so forth. But if you'd like to do the same for the 200 some odd immigrants detained by ICE and housed by us,
Can't do it.
Can't do it. We don't
Because
know.
you
we
don't
You
know
don't
who's
even
there.
know who they are.
Yeah,
If they're there, where
you
they
know
are.
what? This is again in Nazi Germany and other countries. People were swept off the streets and disappeared. They disappeared, and these people are being
You know why this is working,
disappeared.
right? Because we've done this before.
Yeah, yeah.
World War II,
To what? To the
Japanese.
Japanese, yeah.
We did it. We didn't learn from it. We're doing it again.
Yeah,
We've
and
forgotten.
history repeats itself, and will we learn from
We're
it?
gonna be doomed.
Yeah, we're doomed to repeat it. I'm afraid.
So,
That's
Are there
okay.
any actions, I mean,
the Hewlett Sawmill.
protest
Yeah.
in front of the jail, in front of
Yeah,
Staley's
yeah.
new building?
I think we
or-
need more protests.
From what I've learned,
I think we need more protests. I think we
Yeah.
need to be out there, at least once a month.
Right, look
Uh,
at the people down at the Everglades, Alcatraz. 40 weeks they have been out there every day protesting that.
It's closed, they're closing it.
they're closing
Yeah, I
it.
know.
Yeah. So what's the
So it has to be
relation?
too
What's the
expensive.
what's the relationship between the protests and the decision to close it? Are they closing it because of the protests or because it's too expensive?
I think it's
or-
financial. It's
Yeah,
too
they didn't get
expensive.
the reimbursement from the
Yeah.
federal
Right.
they
Right.
expected.
So we're right.
Now
That's
it's a
the state.
stain on them.
Are you
So
telling me-
our state
Well, what's
taxes
his
are paying
name?
for it.
This administration
Stephen Miller
did
wanted
not pay their
3,000 a
bills?
day.
Yeah.
There isn't
What?
3,000,
Yeah.
unless they start picking us
Oh,
up.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Well, why do you
that's
think they're making
that's
the
that's coming.
warehouses?
By the
I
way,
know.
don't forget, Governor DeSantis can declare any of us, any group, including us, as a domestic terrorist group, and send us over to Sheriff Staley's little
The Green Roof Inn?
Green Roof Inn. Yes, exactly. We are living in a fascist state. Not only in Florida, we're living in under fascism. We have there's a title about we have slept our way into autocracy. And we got to wake up, and again, that's our job.
Thank you,
our
free state of
precincts.
Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yep.
I'll
Right,
tell
the
you,
free state of Florida.
The
right.
difference when I was in Boston for 8 days, blue state,
You can exhale.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
very different,
everybody
yep.
was so nice.
I'm
They all
going.
had bad things to say about the government, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm going.
I'm home.
Oh, yes, exactly, exactly.
Live here.
And my friends in Massachusetts say, "What's going on in Florida? You guys have gone crazy." It's
Maybe
like-
I'll run into Heather Cox Richardson of the Lilac.
That would be a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing.
West of Portland.
So let's shift gears to the middle of the Pacific Ocean, where what's called a Godzilla El Nino is forming, which means that we'll have fewer hurricanes named storms, and more difficult droughts.
Okay, wait a minute.
So
what?
more lengthy droughts. Drought. Well, with that
No.
DROUGHT drought. We'll have too little
I thought
water.
the warmer water brought in heavier hurricanes.
Once the hurricane gets started. But if the hurricane doesn't start and it's being suppressed by the winds that somehow come off the El Nino,
Upper level.
yeah, it's a different matter. But once a hurricane or a tropical storm, yes, it's fed by our warm waters, and our waters are very warm by historical.
Yeah, I think
So
that's why they're coming through
Andrew
the Gulf.
came about on the
Right.
El Nino year. And
So
it wasn't much of a worse hurricane in history.
Right.
Yeah, and so
That-
If you've ever
that-
seen
Yeah.
South Florida.
By the way, and
changed it
that's-
for me. I grew up in my
Okay, we can't take up too many
And when I saw
conversations.
the-
Yeah,
We'll
no,
let
it's okay.
Chicago then,
It's okay.
When I saw those
Well, we won't be
pictures,
able to
it
hear
was
any
like,
of it.
this
Yeah,
is
that's
bad.
okay. We're not going to get to 1/10
Ever
of what I've
since
got
then.
here. That's okay.
They've been-
Yeah. So the question is, and County Commissioner Sullivan is a big proponent of it. Do we have enough water to add 12,000, 14,000
Yeah.
homes in our community. Actually, and another 8,000 down at Benel and so on. Do we?
And the 22 for the
Yeah,
westward expansion.
right. But, exactly.
And the
that's what
data
I'm.
center.
Yeah.
Well,
And
there is your
the,
great
the data
equalizer.
center, by the way, is interesting. I don't know because they say that they will take the water out of the aquifer, use it to cool, and and then return it to the aquifer. Although it will be a warmer water, but it will go back and it will recirculate, so that it'll be a net zero. But
Yeah, but
Is that
when
proven?
added
For
to
the
the
alligators.
waters,
But they're
Is
gonna,
that proven?
what? That's what they do.
That they're
The
going
data
to
center?
actually that they can
They-
actually
they-
recirculate into the aquifer.
As I've said
heard that
before,
some are using
we-
that
yeah,
technology.
yeah, we are in a post-truth society.
Okay, then.
Okay, and so I don't know. I do know that that's the technology. I do know that Google
It exists.
has a bunch of barges at the old docks in Brooklyn, New York, on the east and river and the lower New York Bay, and Google, because I happen to know somebody from Orlando who works on this project, and the reason they're on barges is they take the water out, cool the servers, and then return the water, and it of course makes the water warmer, and that's a problem for sea life and for
Right.
pollution and so on, but it is a recirculating system, so.
Are they
That's that.
desalinating? Or is that seawater?
No, that's
using?
something, that's,
No,
yeah,
probably
desal is something
brackish,
else.
the
By the way,
East
our former
More fresh.
mayor, Netz, who, from New Jersey, by the way, from Bergen County.
Jersey?
New Jersey. Okay, we gotta take credit where we can, we don't get much. Actually, I, talked to me about, went to Israel several times to look at desal technology and was trying to bring desal technology here, but energy was it's very energy intensive and
Right.
energy was too expensive, and so.
Solar.
But yeah, well, the solar, but of course,
But we're
the federal
anti-solar in
government,
this
yeah, we're anti-solar,
But if
while
gas
while
prices keep going
China
up, maybe
is,
it's gonna start looking better and better, no?
Not for him.
yes,
Solar
you're
and
using logic.
Yeah, I was
Three
cautioning
million
you.
electric
Don't
cars.
bring
Yeah.
logic
Are
to
waiting
this
on the
conversation.
dock.
The
world is saying.
the windmills are going to drive those whales crazy. Okay, and he knows crazy. So
He's
yeah,
already
it's like-
there.
Yeah, it's absolutely already there. So this is an issue related to the growth of, it's a national, a global issue. By the way, you know that either the Volusia County or the city of Daytona Beach is going to wind up having to buy a bunch of homes in areas that persistently flood. And the same is happening in New Orleans, and there are sections of Miami as well, far away from where the Trump presidential library will be. But there are parts of Miami that are going to
Probably
become
more
or
Miami
becoming
Beach.
chronically flooded and will become uninhabitable.
The place, I saw an interview. This lady in Daytona, they're telling her that we don't have the technology or the wherewithal to divert water to keep this area from flooding. So they're going to apparently buy these homes. But the people that are there, this was affordable living. They're going to buy that home and give them this money, but where are they going to go? They're there for a reason, because this was the only thing they could find. Now you're going to take that away from them, give them, hey, here's your $50,000. Find someplace else to live, because we can't, quote unquote, stop the flooding.
So
The-
who's to determine how much they're getting? Is it the price that it would sell for, or is it eminent domain?
Eminent domain.
Eminent domain.
Which is
Yeah.
nothing. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I thought eminent domain was still supposed to pay
They reimburse
market
you.
value.
Fair
Market
market
value,
value,
yeah.
but if you're in
A known flood zone.
known flood zone,
Your house is
and you were
worth-
already
Yeah.
there
Look
with
at your comps.
what do you call low-cost housing,
Look at the comps.
Yeah.
they're coming in.
Yeah.
And my next question
Talk
is,
about underwater. But
when
yeah.
Daytona buys
waterfront
this
property.
property
Yeah, right.
from all these people,
Should be worth more.
and they resell it to a developer that's
Who
met-
will mitigate the flooding.
right. So how can the builder come in and mitigate flooding that the city can't? How can it magically mitigate flooding by selling it to somebody else.
You
where
typically,
the ci-
Well,
you
because
typically, they're
they'll put more
elevator built on
resources
stilts,
into it.
or,
Well,
or it
that's
can
a-
be
That's the way I'm
done.
Or-
looking at it.
or you
A
raise
developer
it,
would
yeah.
put more
Raise it,
resources in it than
but
the
what of
city
course they raise
has.
it,
Because
it means
city
the
doesn't
neighborhoods
wanna raise
adjacent to it
taxes
get the water,
and
and
actually
yours
do the
did.
job
Yeah.
they've been hired to do. They wanna keep the taxes low, because they're all Republican in office over there. So you're reducing the tax base, so they don't have the money available to them, but a developer would, because they're gonna turn around and charge the new people coming in.
That's all I'm saying.
They're gonna build
But
condo,
literally.
build up.
Yep.
Going
So
up and then-
basically, you're evicting people
Yeah.
because they don't pay enough taxes
Right.
to live where they already live.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's not like they're not paying the taxes they're being charged. It's the fact that the taxes are low, and they're being kept artificially low because their platform is low taxes.
Well, in
That's their
theory,
platform, low taxes.
then I would restructure what's going on in my city and say, okay, I need money to mitigate flooding here. What don't I need money for? Do I need a
Well,
brand new
balancing the
fire truck
budget.
every
Yeah,
year?
they
Do
don't
I
have to
need
do
X
that.
amount of cars?
Did we hear you say you're running for city council?
Nope.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. If I can, I'm going to
Or
draw a
county
line,
commission.
by the way, between the disposal of lithium batteries, and we're going to take advantage of Kathy Moon's being present. I'm going to draw a line right from there, because Broward County has instituted a law, has tried to institute a rule that retail establishments of a certain size, including Publix, have to recycle lithium batteries, because too many fire trucks are catching fire, apparently, because the lithium batteries have a habit of doing that.
Yeah.
The state is going to pass a law in this new session, supposedly, that says, no, they have to wait, we have to study the issue.
Oh, yeah.
And once again, they're going to come up with
Talk to firemen, they'll
they're going
tell
to come
you.
up with preemptive legislation that says you, the local county, and you, the local municipality, can't do that any more than you can ban plastic straws or plastic bags. You're not allowed to do that. And there is a fertilizer as well. And so, once again, the state is limiting the ability of the local government to do it. But nowhere does that happen more than in the field of education, where our school board has so little to decide because everything's decided at the state level. Should we count on school board members to lead a charge against Tallahassee? We know you have enough to do here, but somebody's got to coalesce and go back and complain to Tallahassee. You're limiting us.
They have gone to Tallahassee to complain, so has the city council, so has your county
Particularly.
council.
And
And
does it help?
apparently they don't care.
Yep.
Everyone's complaining about, at every level, about taking away, it's, that's saying that everything from Miami to Jacksonville, the same policy works for everyone, and we damn well know it doesn't.
Yeah.
And everyone agrees on both sides of the aisle. In many cases, it's the Republicans
And
going
again,
up there to say,
if we're not
this
being-
is not working.
If we're not being represented there, if they're not listening to us, why are we paying our taxes?
Why are we paying our
No
taxes?
taxation without representation.
Representation.
And you know it's gonna get to that point where people are
It
gonna
is
finally
gonna
have
get
to
to that
say,
point.
well, I'm keeping my money back then.
Domestic terrorist.
Yeah. Is it related to taxation or the fact that we keep sending Republicans to Tallahassee to do this? Sam Greco and
Not
Not without us trying.
yeah,
I mean, we're trying real hard.
Yeah.
I have
so
never
aren't we at fault?
go down the list and vote, even if I don't know them, I'm voting Democrat.
No.
The Dems
That's-
they're sleeping and they're waking up, so
Well, we
take
can,
heart.
we can,
Things are gonna be better.
we can
Or
overlook.
they're not.
There's a couple of history items I just wanted to bring
Yeah,
up
okay.
to everybody. One of them is the Hewlett, where they, the Hewlett, and never think of that term. It's a sawmill.
Yeah.
The Brits put it in to over 200, well, it was about 250 years ago. How many people have been out and seen? It's a historical site.
Where is
it?
See, you don't even know where it is.
We don't even know what
Go
you're
ahead,
at
tell them
yet.
where it is.
It's across from the Agricultural Museum.
Oh, yeah,
Up Route 1,
Yeah,
up Route
it's
1.
we took
Yeah.
two tours of
Yeah.
it. Oh,
And how about the old brick road? You ever hear of that?
Okay, by the way,
I read a lot about
I have that on my list. We'll
Well, they're gonna destroy that too.
we'll
And the-
destroy
and the sawmill is so important because the Brits knew it. the water, it runs all the time. So it's a source of water. They know about it. I've told them about it. I told the last mayor that, and he was, really?
Oh, no.
Jeez. I shouldn't have said anything. But I was trying to have them do it before that development came up the backside of the sawmill and ruined a beautiful place.
That's why it's named Sawmill
It's called
Ranch.
Sawmill.
and the-
Generally,
Yeah, they named it. Sure, they steal everything.
Generally, our neighborhoods are named for what was there, and then they bulldoze all. Then it's gone, and then so if you're in Pine Lakes, it's because there were pines there, and they obliterated them and built the homes and so on. So there was a sawmill, and it was a historic site. Bulldozed and put up a neighborhood that they called Sawmill something, Sawmill.
Wherever the Brits went,
So
they had
it-
to
it
cut
is-
trees.
by the way,
It's the States.
anybody ever driven the old brick road? Have you been on the old brick road?
No, but I've heard of it.
I've
Yeah,
heard of it.
we should do a
It was,
field. We should do a field trip.
Audubon and those
I was going to do a
people
bike
use it.
trip, and everybody
That I
told me
don't know,
not
right?
to.
Really? I don't know.
Because of
was
that famous
Beulah
movie.
Woods.
Yeah.
So Beulah Woods was.
Okay, that's in your neighborhood. That's south, yeah.
Right, but that was
Famous
like a
movie.
major, that was like the only major road.
Burt
from
Reynolds
St.
was in it.
Augustine
Yeah.
to
Oh,
County.
Deliverance.
Deliverance.
I wondered if you were talking
Yeah,
about
Native Americans used it.
So
Yeah.
don't. They told me not to take my bike down the old brick road.
No,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Did you hear banjos playing?
My
No,
wife blames her.
It's
all
very,
sand
very,
covered, isn't it?
it's very, very rough.
Oh, is it?
I mean, it's better because they have completely covered it almost with sand because of all of the big logging trucks
Going
driving
through there,
out
ripping
day
it out,
in, day out,
Yeah.
day in and day out. They go by my house all day long.
Yeah.
Oh, you live over there?
Yes,
Does anybody know how to get
Really?
Espanola?
Espanola.
Espanola?
Wow.
Heard of it.
Or
I've driven
Flagler
over
Station.
there,
You have
but
to go
I wouldn't take my
north
bike.
to go north on one and make a left on 210 right before 95, and you'll come to the northern entrance of the
Yes.
brick road. I urge you to go there. But yes, my wife complains that her back was never the same after having done it. But we have these historical things. Are we going to give everything to the realtors and everything to the developers and everything to the landowners?
Oh,
and
Marcia.
we
It's
gonna-
not a matter
Can
of
we-
giving, it's a matter of them
They're taking it,
They're
they're
taking
stealing it, they're
it.
robbing us of everything.
Do we have any recourse?
Or we go down and speak in front of city council, speak for.
We probably,
Talk today. Use
we
your
probably
3
have the same
minutes.
recourse that the Native Americans that were here before us had.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
And we have less
Are they-
opportunity now than we had, they just in the last legislature passed the, I think it was called Blue Ribbon. So if it's 10,000 or more acres,
Yes.
we have almost no
With
say.
No
at all.
say.
And that's the rain, that's what's going on here
With the
and so
westward
on.
expansion, and that was I think 20,000
yeah.
acres, they have 22.
Yeah.
And it can't be coincidence that they just bought, just over the
Yes,
amount,
they happen to.
because they knew
Yeah.
what was coming,
Yeah.
you know. They got lobbyists there that
Insider
they're paying
knowledge.
good money
We
for.
love that insider stuff. right?
Yeah.
And now that this
Money, money.
administration has dismantled the EPA,
Yeah.
Right?
Yep,
There's no protection there either.
yeah,
No.
yep, this is, and so all of this, do we just sit here and shake our heads, or can we activate enough Democrats to get at least a couple of precincts in our community to vote blue rather than red? Because
Yeah, we can.
we haven't had a precinct go blue in many elections, I'm sad to say.
What,
No,
And-
like
what
ever-
about like reaching, you know, not all Republicans are on Trump's boat, you know?
Right.
I mean, and less and less and less. What chances have we got to reach out to some of those people to kind of switch, even temporarily switch sides for a little while?
Yeah. By the way, before we get to the Republicans, we have the no party affiliates.
Oh, yeah.
And I
know
always
them too.
thought that the no party affiliates were all just disaffected Republicans. But as Jan Sullivan has convinced me here, that there are what's called Democratic Party adjacent no party affiliates, and we need to reach them. So, in fact, your precinct captain is going to urge you to go and find the Democrats in the neighborhood and speak to them. But we probably need to speak to the no party affiliates and then go on to the Republicans. Because yes,
Right. Once they're done with the Democratic people in their area, then they can ask to have the NPA's polled and go after them as well.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't think it should be one at the expense of the other. I
No,
think they should.
No.
we visit both.
Yes,
Yeah.
The
we
lists
visit
we get
are
are
both.
whatever,
Democrats and
March's list,
NPAs.
it'd be Democrats and then NPAs.
But just new people,
Yeah.
new,
And new people.
Right.
Yeah.
just new people.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
with the list.
the other side of that is, regrettably, we are already seeing what's coming and feeling this is just
The tip.
the tip of the sword. The full effect's gonna be after the midterms,
I know.
and
it's
the
gonna look
big
like we
beautiful
did it.
nightmare
Kicks
kicks
in.
in January 1.
And it's gonna look like the Dems did it because now the Dems are in control after the
Well,
midterm.
if they
Well,
were-
they're gonna say the Dems did it anyway.
Yeah.
Joe
Re-
Biden's fault.
Re-
regardless, they still say
Yeah.
Biden's
Yeah.
responsible for this economy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So of course they're gonna blame the Dems, but anybody that has common sense is gonna realize, well, the Dems didn't pass this bill. They didn't get one Democratic vote.
You think they're gonna say that? Are you kidding me? They're
No.
gonna
But you-
blame everything on Dems.
Yeah.
But
Like,
Yeah,
well,
nobody
but I
knows.
Everything is still Biden's fault, don't you know?
That's fine, but you know what? When people's grandmothers or elderly friends or people in rural communities don't have hospitals, Medicaid, Medicare gets cut, Social Security
already
gets
been.
banded.
Already
You,
been.
there's
Snap
gonna
way.
be, it's gonna be,
The
snap, and
is,
that's
yeah,
already
yeah,
going.
yeah.
But how do we control the messaging? That's the point,
Yeah.
because that's what's gonna happen, right? They're gonna spin it with their base that the Republicans or the Democrats did all of that.
There's always gonna be a part of their base that's gonna believe that no matter what we say or do, they didn't do this. But they're going to be people that when they actually feel the knife slide in their back, they're gonna realize, oh, that's not a Democratic hand on that blade. They're gonna see it. They're gonna realize, wait a minute, I just voted Republican, and why is my great grandmother in the street with no Medicare? Because the nursing home is saying you either pay or she's in the street.
No,
That's coming.
or will
Well,
Fox
it should
TV, or will
already
Fox
be there
TV
with all the
convince them
things
that it's the
happening now.
Democrats' fault anyway?
Well, you
Again,
know what?
In our post-truth society,
It's hard to listen to Fox tell you your mother's not being evicted from her care when your mother's in the street
Yeah.
looking at you saying, I don't have care.
yeah, but Fox
Fox
TV is going to say it's because of the Democrats,
It's
not
gonna be
because
Obama's
of the
fault
yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
Right, yeah,
Send it back
exactly.
to
It
Obama.
isn't Biden, it's
and
Obama.
ACA and
Yeah.
Obama,
Yeah.
it'll be called
And
Obamacare
so
then,
on.
because when it's bad, it's Obamacare, and when it's good, it's ACA, right?
Maybe,
That's my
and the latest, did I mention it before? Overnight, Trump tweeted, it was on the plane or something, that the Obamas made $140 million from Obamacare.
And he attributed that to RFK Jr., who promptly said, I never said that.
Yeah, but nobody hears RFK Jr.
Right.
They unfortunately hear Trump's. At any rate, we have a great deal more to talk about. We'll do it again next week. Thank you for being here, and again, know your precinct.
12
Contact.
o'clock next week.
Are we starting?
Oh, we're
We're
going
going back to 12 o'clock?
We're going back to
Okay,
12.
I thought
Okay.
That's good. We'll start at noon next week.
Here.
I'll change that notice here. I have to redo the notice anyway. I don't know that anybody reads it. And thank you for being here, and keep the faith. We can.
For one more
We
week
can
anyway.
we can prevail. And
Hang on.
certainly, if we and we talked about the notion of preemptive surrender. If we decide we can't succeed, then we won't succeed.
We're lost.
Yeah. So we need to understand that we need to gird our loins and get ready to go into battle. Okay? And by the way, again, August 18th. Don't forget August 18th, okay? Is the next and critical election, and I would argue perhaps more critical than November 3rd. Thank you again.
I have a question.
Anything?
If Mel's tag wasn't a number, what would it spell?
Oh, what? Is it SOB? Oh, I didn't know about that. Okay. I didn't. By the way, I've been here long enough that the precincts had 2 digits.
Oh, really?
And in fact, I think I was in precinct 18. But yes, I have to be more careful about that. You know what? I'll have to put put a slice through the 0.
That's
to
hilarious.
indicate that it's a 0 and not a. But you're absolutely right. Thank you very much. Okay.
I don't get to take you turn right.
She wants us to end on a high
It's
note.
quite all right. That's quite all right.
Hilarious.
We know what you're thinking. It's a fellow New Jersey.